Greetings, everyone, and welcome. July the 19th, 2025. And as you can see by the thumbnail, I absolutely believe that something fishy is going on. And it's not just going to be an opinion, but over the next 8 to 10 minutes, I'm going to document it with video that is coming out of Germany, that is coming out of India, and that is coming out of Denmark. Really, really interesting. But there's something about this 50 days that is fishy. And why is that? Because we're not even sure that Patriot systems are going to be inside Ukraine within those 50 days. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing. We appreciate each and every one of you. Let's jump to it right now. Bild is reporting out of Germany, and I have the Merz video to confirm it. Going to show it with you. Germany will deliver a Patriot air defense system to Ukraine within 6 to 8 months. The system, originally earmarked for Switzerland, is being reprioritized for Ukraine, with Germany covering the cost. We're hearing all of that, but we're unsure of the timelines. And now we're beginning to hear it. And what's interesting, guys, it is July the 19th. The 50-day deadline for sanctions and tariffs is about September 2nd, September 3rd. This unit still being finalized by Raytheon. Speed up the process. Germany may send a Patriot from its own military stock. That is true, though replacing that could take years. So what we have right now is a big question mark. So what do we do when we have question marks? Number one, we will confirm it to you when Ukraine says they have received the Patriot. Zelensky will confirm it. That's not happened. And number two, Merz himself speaking. Listen to this.
Well, Mr. Fisher, just to be clear, I didn't say that this decision will happen in the next few hours, but the defense ministers are negotiating as we stand here also with regard to the details concerning the delivery. So how can we make sure that Ukraine is being supplied with the necessary systems? These systems have to be transported there. They have to be set up. It's not a matter of hours, but perhaps a question of days or weeks. But we are it's a concrete thing. We have not, the readiness has been expressed on the side and the part of the Americans to engage with us in that regard.
So we do have the good news with the bad news. And the good news is it's a concrete thing. It is going to happen. Unfortunately, when you talk about, and you just do this big show that all this weaponry is going to Ukraine, it's going to happen quickly, we're getting it there. Guys, you do not move Patriot systems in days. You really don't even move them in weeks. It is a serious situation. And we can see it's almost like just tiding everybody over for the summer. And then, of course, we have all of the chaos that is happening inside the United States. So what is Russia doing while we're seeing this delay? The countdown toward the 50 days. And you're going to hear from India on that in just a moment. What is Russia doing? Last night, Russia striking Ukraine extremely hard, massive attack. The city of Pavlograd was hit. We're talking critical infrastructure, and there were strikes throughout the entire nation of Ukraine. Air defense functioned as well as possible, but there were many and multiple confirmed strikes and hits, and it is becoming more difficult to defend against these attacks. And now we see that Russia is changing their tactic. So you're looking at a map here, and in the past, what Russia does is they run long ghost runs. And they'll put the bombers in the air, the Tupolovs in the air, the 95s, and they'll put them in the air. They'll fly them out and put them over the launch zone. If you're looking at the map, you see big red Russia, you see Ukraine in yellow, and then you see the green stars. So that is basically the launch decks. And they bring these bombers into these launch decks, and this is what Ukrainian intelligence is watching, and those who are responsible for monitoring the airstrikes, and they will say, okay, the aircraft have arrived, they're in the air, now they're in the launch zone. We will know within the next 30 minutes if they launch missiles or not. And this is what happens quite regularly, even on evenings where it's only Shaheeds flying and not missiles. You still have these planes running. But now you see 1, 2, 3, 4 main airports. You see Olena, Aerodrome Olena at the top near St. Petersburg. You see Ingles at the bottom. These are the two that are closest to Ukraine. You also see Sovetski, which is up in the middle center. And then the one to the far right, way over, is Aerodrome Ukrainka. Isn't that interesting? Ukrainka. And now we're seeing that these bombers are actually launching from there, being refueled. It's a 6,000-kilometer run, much like the United States did in the long bombing run for Iran. And they're actually not just repositioning these planes as they've typically done for over the 4 years of this war, pushing into 4 years. They're now bringing these to the launch drop zones, refueling them in midair, and then launching the missiles from them. So it's putting Ukraine on kind of a back foot, because all of the historical patterns were these were just removement and repositioning of planes. So Russia taking advantage right now of Ukraine's deficiency in air defense. This is a new tactic that they're using. Now, let's go to India. This is Anil Trigunayat. I hope I did okay with his name there. He is ambassador. He has been a professional Indian diplomat for over 3 decades, 30 years, serving India's foreign ministry and national interest across continents from Asia to Africa to Europe and the Americas, including his specialties are Russia and the United States. His expertise is in economics and geopolitical interconnection. This is an Indian expert. Listen to what he says. This is what I'm going to stand. I hope I'm wrong, but I just see India and Russia and China standing together. Take a look at this.
Well, I think that India does not believe in these kind of unilateral sanctions, and we have always opposed those. And whether it is CAATSA sanctions or they are threats of the sanctions or tariffs, these are very unfair measures that are being basically done. As far as India is concerned, for us, our energy security is of paramount importance. Secondly, we see that when the Europeans or Americans or someone else indulges in these kind of sanctions, they are essentially just applying double standards, because by themselves, if you know that in June alone, the European countries paid about 1.2 billion euros to Russia. And 72% of that was natural gas, which the Europeans bought from Russia. They continue to buy the various kinds of rare earths and minerals, metals, and other things that they need. There is no sanction on that. But they are trying to do that. This is the convenient tool in their toolbox, sanctions. And these kind of sanctions have really outlived their utility. They do create some kind of a problem, but India will continue to buy the oil from where it is the best for its own national interest.
Bottom line is, you can see, he says, listen, India is going to do what is best for India. And this old method of the tariffs and the sanctions, we're living in a different world today. And in a nutshell, he goes and he states very clearly, Russian stuff still being bought in the European Union. And we will not be told where to buy our goods, whether it's oil, rare earth metals, or anything else. We will purchase and do what is best for India. Now, the last thing I want to share with you is Vladimir Barbin, and you may not know him unless you are from Denmark. If you're from Denmark, I look forward to hearing and seeing your comments on this. But this is what is happening inside European nations where these ambassadors are from Russia. They're there pushing the narrative. They're there pushing the message. And this is what they do. Let me show you this guy here. This is Vladimir Barbin. He's stating now there is a chance to achieve peace in Ukraine. But in Denmark, they prefer to talk about war. This is the Russian ambassador to Denmark. I've got him translated for you. Here you go. The Danish ministers of foreign affairs and defense unanimously speak of Copenhagen's readiness to participate in paying for European purchases of American weapons, including Patriot anti-aircraft missile systems. In Denmark, the myth that Ukraine is fighting with Russia and defending Europe is persistently and widely spread. The public space has been cleared of opposing views and opinions on this issue to the point of sterility, and under these conditions, Such intentions of Copenhagen did not meet with any opposition in Danish society. Many Danish politicians make a career out of cultivating Russophobic sentiments. The myth is spreading about the possibility of Russia's imminent attack on Europe. And of course, no evidence will be provided for this assertion, this false assertion. However, this allows the Danish political establishment and the government to justify and conduct a decidedly unpopular life without taking it seriously. In particular, the unprecedented growth of military spending without encountering any criticism from citizens. An atmosphere of possible military conflict with Russia is being cultivated in Denmark. Bomb shelters are being prepared, and the population, they are being urged to have food, water, and essential supplies for at least 3 days. Military preparations in Denmark are naturally in line with the general policy of NATO and the European Union. It is being militarized, but in implementing this course, Denmark is certainly among the leaders. So there you have it. That's his report coming out of Denmark, coming back into Russia. He goes, listen, the Danes, all they want to do is war, man. They're preparing. Their budget is there. They're building bomb shelters. They're telling their citizens to have food. There's Russophobia everywhere. You know, I know we have a lot of Danes and wonderful people of Denmark that watch. I really look forward to reading your comments on this and your response to hearing Vladimir Barbin speaking about your nation. The bottom line is this: we're seeing rhetoric increase, but with that, I'm just going to stand by this one right here. There's something fishy going on the 50 days. You know, it's just not going to be as cut and dry as 50 days, and then we're going to sanction you, and there are going to be secondary tariffs on nations, and then the war will just be over. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. But right now, while we're looking at that, we're still waiting on what was stated. Let's get those Patriot systems there. Well, it's going to take much more time than we thought. This is the reality of what Ukraine is facing, and that is why we stand with Ukraine every day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for wanting to hear the truth, know the truth, and listen. We discover it together. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Be blessed, and we'll be back at you.